Oh, sorry.
Fuck your couch. Oh shit, I'm live. Well, welcome to Not a Trekkie.
Go ahead. Start.
Gentlemen, to Not a Trekkie, an all Star Wars Everything podcast brought to you by Red Cyclone Inc. Everything from New Hope to Rogue One, even that Solo one. From Anakin and Obi-Wan to Rey left being the only one now. I cannot stress this anymore. There is no hate. This ain't Stargate, this ain't Star Trek, this is Star Wars! I'm your host, Tenacious T. My co-host for the Not a Trekkie podcast, the Merc with the mic.
What is up, guys? What is up?
We have an awesome cast for you guys. I personally am very excited for this. I know the world might not be excited for this because I've dealt with bad criticism from people since the moment that this came out. You know what I mean? And but we are discussing today Awakens, The Force Awakens.
So we're starting our Disney venture into the Star Wars universe.
Yes, Disney. Which he still has stakes in it. He's his name Lucasfilm is still on it. You know what I mean? But Disney just owns it all.
Lucas. Lucas don't need
Those
shit.
Those prequels suck, motherfucker.
Exactly. The ones you directed wasn't good, except for the first one.
And he hates on the best one that was made.
Exactly. But this was an interesting take on. This was an interesting time when Disney took over Star Wars. Yeah, a lot of people had their questions and what's going to go on and what they're going to do, how they're going to ruin Star Wars and things like that. And so far it's been like 50-50. There's some good and there's some not good. Which is exactly the same fucking thing that Lucas was doing anyway.
I don't know. I give it definitely it's a better trilogy than the prequels, I think. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like Attack of the Clones is good, man. But we both agree we can live without a Phantom Menace. So that already negates those prequels.
But I could live without The Last Jedi too.
Yeah, but like just being in this day and age and stuff like that, seeing things like the way it should be. You know what I mean? Like we are now in a real like real clear day and age and like technological day and age when it comes to making these movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where we have with the original trilogy, we had to build everything, which still looked dope, but it is dated in a sense. You know what I mean? And then you go into the prequel trilogies, which is all CG. You know what I mean? And the primitive stage of CG nonetheless. Yeah. So you watched it then, and it was like the height of that technology, and it was dope at the time. But then you watch now, you're like, it's too cartoony. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit a little bit. You know what I mean? It's really just like that. And then now you go to this. Now finally we have like real visuals, real sounds. You know what I mean? Like you see things in 4K and 1080p Blu-ray and stuff like that.
You see the pimples on their paws.
Yeah, see the dimples on the face.
So something shout outs to the Flying Grayson, Little Steven. He said Disney owns the name of Star Wars. So Lucasfilm still has. Yeah, he's on.
That's my boy right there.
So we're gonna start the Disney venture. Again, like I still say it's like 50-50. There's things that did good, like Mandalorian, fucking godlike, and then they did Last Jedi.
Well, look who did Mandalorian. Look who did Mandalorian, bro.
Yeah,
like, come on, Jon Favreau's the man.
Yeah.
Everything he touches is fucking good.
Yeah.
In my eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which we're excited. October 30th is season 2.
Hey man, I can't wait to run back into Mandalorian. I'm holding off. I was going to do it again.
I think that's
we're gonna have to do it for our cast.
I think that's gonna be after. I think it will be soon. I think right after we finish the 3 Disney, I think we should go into Mandalorian.
Okay, I mean we could do that, and and then we still have
Rogue One, and Solo.
Rogue One and Solo, and then we also have like the animated series out on Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah, because the animated series are long, so that's gonna take time. So I'll say let's get the movies all out the way, and I think Mandalorian deserves it too.
And we also got to hit the Lego ones too. I was thinking that, like, I really think that we should watch the Lego ones because I feel like they would be really cool.
Play the game. Yeah, the games. So the games are actually like they do a really good job in telling you the movie without actually telling you the movie. They do their own little spin on it, but they still tell you the exact what happens in the movie. They're actually really good. The complete saga comes out soon.
I gotta see like a Robot Chicken version. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because Robot Chicken just did such an amazing job.
Yeah.
They really did. But let's get to the movie at hand. Star Wars.
Before we get into the movie, just a little shout out because I was just telling you about the commercial. There is a commercial out there for Uber Eats with the guy that plays Luke Picard. No, not Luke Picard. Patrick Stewart and Mark Hamill, and they're ordering food, but they're both in like dark jackets and they're talking shit to each other about their selective films and whatnot. So definitely check that commercial out. It's pretty funny.
Well, if Mark Hamill mentions the fact that he is the Joker, then he already won.
Nah, he is the Luke Skywalker.
I understand that, but to me, he's more important as the Joker to me than he is Luke Skywalker.
But other than that, now we could go into the movie.
Yes, well, as we all know now, we are reviewing Star Wars The Force Awakens, which this is like, you know what I mean? This is 30 years after the original. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, when did the prequels end?
Prequels
like 2007, 2008, something like that.
Yeah.
So we're going off. This came out in 2015.
Yeah.
So we're going off, basically 8-9 years without having like a Star Wars. You know what I mean? So what excited me in the very beginning of this is that as you frequent viewers and listeners, you guys should know by now that I did not grow up watching this. You know what I mean? I didn't watch Star Wars. I did, but I didn't really care about it. This was the first time ever where I was a Star Wars fanatic, and then I actually got to go and sit down and go and see it in the theaters. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was like, this was like really important to me. So like the lead up and the build up, and I'm pretty sure the whole world agrees with me because it like shattered records, and for the pre-sales and you know what I mean? Like it was such a big deal when this movie was coming out. But it was released December 18th, 2015.
Yeah.
It is directed by, which I find this hilarious, J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
And what is J.J. Abrams to us known for? Besides this?
Well, District 9, that's one. Well, and then also the Star Trek movies.
Which, a little nod to the name of our podcast, Not a Trekkie. So, but you know what I mean. I'll be honest. Like he did a good job with this. So, I'm very pleased with it. But it grossed like $2 billion. You know what I mean? That's good, bro. That's
like Avenger money right there.
IMDb rates it a 7.9 out of 10.
I can see it.
I don't really have a number for it right now. We have to still think of it, but
yeah.
You want to go into our characters?
Let's go with the opening crawl like we do on every other show. If I could get it up. Luke Skywalker has vanished. In his absence, the sinister First Order has risen from the ashes of the Empire and will not rest until Skywalker, the Last Jedi, has been destroyed. With the support of the Republic, General Leia Organa leads a brave renaissance. She is desperate to find Brother Luke and gain his help to restoring peace and justice into the galaxy. Leia sent her most daring pilot on a secret mission to Jakku, where an old ally has discovered a clue to Luke's whereabouts. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, right after that synopsis goes to like such an opening, such a great opening. It was so visually nice. That's one thing I'm gonna periodically say, throughout this cast is like was so many good just scenes that just look so nice. You know what I mean? Like I each time I watch it, I catch more and more, and I appreciate it more. But it's like you see inside this ship, and then all you see is just like a strobe kind of thing, like a light swinging, or kind of lights flashing between the windows, and you just see like stormtrooper helmets. You know what I mean? It's like that you see. You know what I mean? It's like when you're sitting there and they're already amped from the jump.
Yeah.
See, my first experience watching this damn movie, I had to wait 2 weeks into it, and then I was 3 rows up from the screen in 3D, all the way to the left. So those opening scroll was all going to the right.
So you only read the right part, the left part.
No, you can read it, but I was like turning my head to the side. You know what I mean? It was a horrible experience. One, I hate 3D with a passion because I wear glasses, and it just gives me a headache. And 2 is just that is not an ideal thing for me to ever watch a movie anywhere close to this to the screen. But yeah, so right after that scene, it flashes to now we don't know who these characters are right now, but you see this old man, sort of has like a resemblance to like Obi-Wan Kenobi and stuff like that. And you hear this obviously is this young dude. We're guessing that is the pilot at the moment in time. So they're basically discussing. You know what I mean? That they have this, they have this map, they have this chip, that locates basically where Luke Skywalker is. So we get introduced to the droid of the movie, which, as we all know in Star Wars, like it's just famous for its droids. You know what I mean? And R2-D2 being like probably the number 1 droid in the entire universe, I would say. And then we got C-3PO, but we get introduced to BB-8, and as the First Order, as they call themselves, come swooping in, he gives BB-8 basically the chip. Yeah. To the coordinates of where Luke Skywalker is. So the old man basically tells him, we don't know who he is at the moment in time, but he tells him, he's like, get out of here. He's like, you go save yourself. Yeah. So, and then the second that the First Order just comes in, they just start blasting away. Like that whole scene just looked awesome. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he gets captured.
Well, what happens is, we see this Darth Vader like, guy come swooping down after everybody starts shooting and stormtroopers go off, and he starts talking to him. He's like, yeah, you've changed. He's like, yeah, well, you got old. You know what I mean? It's like, so he ends up striking him down. He kills him because he's like, all right, this guy has no use for me. Yeah. And then Poe, which who ends up, that's who he is, Poe Dameron. He shoots at the same time, this is so cool to me. You know what I mean? He shoots the ray gun, and he stops it, right? Now after all this, while all that battle scene was going on, we have this stormtrooper that you see like very hesitant. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you can see he's like hyperventilating, he's scared.
Panic
and then one of his yeah, no, he definitely was having a panic attack. We found out that was, this guy's first, first battle. Yeah. Which we don't know at the time from, like, back in the day. Well, what were the stormtroopers made out of? They were made out of clones. They
still suck at shooting too.
Yeah,
You'd think out of all these years they'll improve on their shot. Nope.
Yeah, no, it's but in all fairity, when there's a group of people to shoot at, the ricochet is probably
like something's going to land. Something has to land.
It bounces off of like a rock. So somebody falls down and hits their head, and that's how they die. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, at least
they die from the run. They don't die from the bullet.
That's funny as hell. But yeah, so this is like, to me, it was such like a symbolic moment where, because the stormtrooper suit itself, it's all white, it's nice, you know what I mean? It's supposed to accent the opposite of evil, which is darkness, and the force. And this is practicing basically the dark side of the force. So they pushed it off as white. So like, as this stormtrooper is hesitant, he sees another stormtrooper get like shot down, and he holds him as he's dying, and he smears that blood across his helmet. You know what I mean? And he just stands up, and he's all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, this Darth Vader-looking guy named Kylo Ren, right? He strikes down. What's his face? His name is Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
No, Lord Sen Tekka. That's his name. Strikes him down, and Poe takes the shot. So, they capture Poe and they bring him in, and then as Kylo Ren is heading back to the ship, he senses something and he looks, and then there you see that stormtrooper, the blood on his forehead, staring at him. Yeah. Right. And so he's just looking at him. He's like, I wonder what was going through his head, because you don't really, but you can just sense something's going on. So at the same time, the same shot that Poe shot, it's still sitting there, which I didn't notice until like my third time watching. Yeah. But there's so much interaction that happened while he was still using the Force to stop this ray. And then once he gets onto the ship, that's when it finally goes. You know what I mean? I thought it was so cool. I thought that was a nice opening scene.
Yeah, it was a cool opening scene. Kind of get you ingested in their new universe and what it is. Kind of introduces you to the new. It kind of gives a lot of points. It gives you an introduction to the new villain. It gives you introduction to the new First Order troops, because they're not the same. They're not the same as the Empire. The Empire. They're a different group. They wear the same colors.
They've evolved. You know what I mean? Oh, they're still Nazis in space, bro. You know what I mean?
They haven't changed being Nazis in space, but
the politics didn't change. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like a gang that got wiped out, and the younger gang came up, and then they named themselves something else. You know what I mean?
And then also just like Vader, you kind of learn that. Well, in the beginning of this movie, you see Darth Maul having a big role, and then you see how much command he actually has, and but yeah, so with Finn, this is the first time you actually start seeing there are actually people underneath the stormtrooper, because you remember back in the Clone Wars, and I guess it will be in the original trilogy, there were clones of Boba Fett. Yeah, the original Jango Fett.
Well, we didn't even know what's going on really at this moment in time.
You know what I mean? Like I just said, this is the first time you actually see someone's different face underneath a stormtrooper helmet. Yeah, before, it was all clones.
Yeah, because they go back to the ship, and then he starts hyperventilating, and that's when he takes his helmet off. And you're like, holy shit, that's the dude from Attack the Block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to know what I hate about this is that there's so many British dudes and people in the movie, right? And the guy who plays Finn, F12187, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
F12.
Finn. Just Finn.
Yeah, F1287. Well, you gotta know his name. Yeah. You know what I mean? They have him speaking English. Well, and everybody else is speaking British around him. You know what I mean? Like, why does he got to speak like American? You know what I mean? Which in this world, I guess there is no British and American. It's just dialects of it. Okay?
Exactly. So why he had to change his accent?
Exactly. It would have been perfect for him to just have, because I've never even heard his voice except for doing interviews. So I was like, holy shit, he's just like in all Marvel movies. Every Marvel fucking superhero is fucking British.
British or Australian.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth is Australian.
Them, you know what I
mean? Wolverine is Australian. But yeah, the fact that there's no language dialect and shit, you'll think you could easily all right, he can just speak his way he speaks. No.
Yeah, but I think with Ray has an accent, so they probably didn't want to do that. And then, we have the rest of the characters that come in and stuff like that. But anyway. That's Smo calling me. No, I'm not working tonight.
My Smo.
So So we jump from that opening scene to they go into that scene where also when he takes the helmet off, he gets presented. He gets approached by this tall, silver-looking stormtrooper, which looks awesome.
Yeah. Which
is Phasm, and it has a female voice, and the female voice at this time sounds so familiar because the woman that is in it at the time, the most the most popular show in all the world in 2015 is Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And she's really big. She's really big in it. I forget her name.
She's really big. Period. But.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
She will make you look small.
No pun intended. No pun intended. But like that whole scene, it just shows that that was our first view of somebody not being the clone. So you're like, oh, what is this? Like, that's the first thing that popped in my head when I thought about it. I was like, yo, that's not Jango Fett.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, we find out later in the movie what it actually becomes. But, so we switch to that, and then we...
Yo?
Trilogy.
Yeah, you froze.
Which is Rey. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, your picture cut out. Oh, my bad. But yeah, so we see her. She's basically a scavenger.
Yeah.
On a planet that just so happens to look just like Tatooine.
Yeah.
Just like it. You know what I mean? Basically, it's just a desert-ass place. And you see her scavenging for stuff. We don't know what's happening, so she brings it into town and she cleans it up, and you can just sense there's like a loneliness to her. You know what I mean? And as she's cleaning the stuff, she's looking at the old woman that's sitting in front of her, like, damn, like that's gonna be me one day. You know what I mean? So she goes and like trades it in, and obviously what it really is, like she's scavenging for food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she gets paid for the thing. So she goes back and sits basically outside of an AT-AT. You know what I mean? And which is so cool because it's like a hint of who she is and where she's going, because she's sitting there and she pops on a Resistance helmet, like a Luke Skywalker helmet.
Yeah.
You know, like the pilots of like the X-Wings and stuff like that, which sort of foreshadowed from the jump of who she is and where this is going to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I thought that I thought she's pretty cute.
Yep.
That yeah, can't deny that. A little flat chested, but she's not bad at all. But so this is now what happens is. So, F12187, he panics while he's there, while he's in the ship, and he decides to go and break free, which we now know is Poe Dameron, the best pilot in all the Resistance. So he goes in, he was like, you're here, I'm here to rescue you. He's like, no, you need a pilot. He's like, yeah, I need a pilot. You know what I mean? And one thing about this movie is like, it sort of has like little cheesy one-liners.
Yeah.
Like with Finn, there's a lot of like little zingers that like he tries to be a little too funny a little bit when he should be serious. But it's like him just overacting, I guess, But that leads to like a huge big scene. They go into a TIE fighter.
Yeah.
And he's like, damn, I always wanted to fly one of these. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was part of the Resistance and I flew an X-wing. You know damn well you went up against TIE fighters a million times, and you're like, damn, I'd like those things move. Like, I would love to fly that damn thing. So they basically, they hijack it, and they go off, and Finn, this is where he gets his name because they introduce each other, and then he's like, yo, I don't like that FN-2187. I'm gonna call you Finn. He's like, yeah, I like Finn. Finn's nice.
Yeah.
So he mans the guns, and they shoot their way out, basically. And then they get shot down where they crash back on to Jakku.
Yep, Jakku.
So BB-8 already went there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because actually BB-8 was already there from the night before. So Ray is sitting there eating, and she hears a commotion, and one of those creatures, the sand creatures, is over there trying to fuck with BB-8. So she goes over and tries to help BB-8 out. And she does. She fixes his antenna, and she's like, "All right, well, go this way. There's a town that way, and then there's a town this way." And then he like guilt trips her. You don't know what the hell he's saying, but you can tell him like the tone
like, please?
that he is using. He's using his cuteness to his advantage.
Yes. Like you.
So she follows him to town, and yeah, and then we got Finn waking up to the wreckage.
Yep.
Of the X-Wing, not the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter, in the desert of Jakku, which that just looks miserable. You know what I mean? That whole planet just looks miserable. I don't understand why anybody would even think about.
It looks like everyone has sand in their ass.
Yeah, sandy butt, sandy feet. You know what I mean?
Sandy parts.
Fucking sand in the hair. You know what I mean? Even the sandpaper had extra sand on it. You know?
It's just nasty.
But so. You know, BB-8 basically explains to her what is going on. You know what I mean? He's like, you know, my master said, you know, I have to get to the resistance and stuff like that. So
yeah.
we got Finn waking up at the wreckage and can't find Poe anywhere. So he just assumed he's dead. So the whole ship gets sunk into the ground, and he grabs his jacket. So he's literally dressed in all black, walking through the desert, bro. Like, I felt so bad for this man. It was absolutely horrible. But then he walks into town, dumps his head in one of those big animal troughs, which I found hilarious. I would have done the same shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to continue?
Yeah, keep it moving. Keep it going. We have a lot to cover.
Yeah. I'm just gonna flow it. You know what I mean?
Keep flowing, and then we'll talk. We'll talk in between.
You know, the First Order goes down to Jakku looking for the droid. So she goes up to the same dude that she sold the stuff to, and he offered her like some stupid portion for what she gave him. But then he was like, "Well, I'll give you one quarter portion." She was like, "It was double that fucking yesterday." He's like, "Yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? Sucks to be you, nerd." And
sucks to be you.
And then, but he's like, but the droid. She's like, "What about him?" He's like, "I'll pay for him." He's like, "I'll give you 60 portions." Like, yo, her mouth dropped. She ain't never seen that much food. That food just looks so horrible, man. It was just
that's what they got. Do you see what's around them? What else is gonna be good there?
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it could have been like some Back to the Future shit where you pop a pill in a fucking microwave or something and it turns into like a gourmet meal. Instead, you pour water on this fucking thing and it turns into like a loaf. So you're just eating carbs all day.
Yeah.
Everybody on that planet should be fat and dying of dehydration.
No, because look at the planet. It's a fucking desert. Your ass is sweating every fucking day. That bread goes right through you.
They could have like Nerf herder milk or some shit like that. You know, blue milk and shit. You know what I mean? Like, blue milk looked appetizing more than that. You know what I mean?
Blue milk.
But
they could keep that shit.
So the first order comes swarming in. Well, the guy basically tells to get the droid. So, you know, Finn is drinking out of the trough right now and hears the commotion. So he sees a girl being attacked, so he starts running up, and then she starts whooping some ass.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he's just standing there, and then BB-8 notices the jacket that he's wearing, and then he tells her, like, and then she starts jetting after him. So he's like looking at her like, what the fuck is going on? So he just starts running, and then she whoops his ass, bro. I was like, yes, power to the women. So he just basically explains that he's the one that broke him out and that he's part of the resistance, which like sparked like something in her. She's like, "Oh my God, you're part of the resistance." He's like, "Yeah, I'm part of the resistance," and said that he helped Poe get away, but Poe died, and then you can hear like the whimpering in BB-8. He's all sad and stuff, and you know, like it was a little felt moment in time, but so all this, like I said, the First Order's coming in. So now we all clarified at this moment in time that Rey knows how to defend herself.
Yeah, she knows how to fight. She had bow staff.
So
she's Donatello.
So what does he? But what does Finn do when they start running and when they start swarming in? He grabs her hand and starts running. She's like, bitch, I know how to run.
Yeah.
I don't need you to grab my hand. So they're running towards plane, spaceships and shit like that.
Yeah.
Spacecrafts. I don't know how to enunciate what is the proper term for this, because if every craft in this universe is a spaceship, would it be really called a spaceship? I don't know.
It'd be a spaceship because we call it a spaceship.
Well, that's what we call it on Earth, but we don't know like technical terms of like other places. You know what I mean? Like they could be starfighters, they could be
Starfighter. Yeah, Starfighter, or I don't know, because you don't know what kind of ship it is, the transporter.
Well, because we got TIE fighters, we got X-wings, we got this. You know what I mean? We have destroyers, we have all that crap. So, they start running after the ship. And Finn's like, yeah, but we need a pilot. She's like, you got one right here. I'm a pilot.
Yeah.
So he was like, what about that one right there? She's like, nah, that's a piece of junk. So they start running to the ship, and the ship gets blown up. So they're like, all right, we're going to take the piece of junk. And this is where we got to get back the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Which what I love is that in every movie of Star Wars, they always refer to the Millennium Falcon as a piece of trash.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that ship, like, it looks nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably one of the most famous vehicles in like movie history.
Yeah.
Like sort of down the lines with Batmobile. You know what I mean? It's just as famous as that. It's like the Dukes of Hazzard car. It's like KITT. You know what I mean? Like, I think that probably is, besides the Batmobile, I think the Batmobile is a little bit more famous than the Millennium Falcon, but it's right up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's up there.
So they go through a nice little battle scene where you actually see the skill that Rey has as a pilot.
Yeah.
So they basically get away and and all that. So that whole scene was really nice. I thought it was cool. Moving on from here. You think that was the first time? Yeah, that had to have been the first time Rey was in space, right? Like, I felt like she should have been more awed and more in awe of going to space. She's been sitting on a fucking desert planet her whole life.
That's true. Like, she has not left that planet. So, yeah, you would think that she would be more scared about going up there, or just, like, nerve-wracking, or more excited, or very naive about it. But no, she was just, like, regular as Rey.
Yeah. But now, as all this is happening, we flash over to where Kylo Ren is, and he's talking to one of the generals. What's his face? I forget his fucking name. I'm trying to look it up. General Hux. Which is funny because he also stars in a movie with Poe Dameron in a movie called Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Which is cool to me because it shows like they have a continuous like on-screen stream.
Yeah.
And in Ex Machina, he portrays a guy who lives on Long Island.
Yeah.
Who lives in Brookhaven. And when he was talking about Brookhaven in the movie, I was like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Whoever wrote that scene, you have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to live in Brookhaven, and you're not living by the water.
Yeah.
So, but they're going back and forth at whose fault it is. And this is where you find out that General Hux is the one who started the taking the kids from youth and growing them into stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Because Kylo Ren was like, yo, maybe we should have went back to being back to being clones. It was like, yo, it's not our fault. Like, this was the first case of something like this happening where a stormtrooper committed treason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like they didn't know, and the reason why he wasn't really interrogated like that because Finn never really had like any track record of ever being disobedient. But then again, this is the first time he was ever out in the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Now, we get the whole gist of the First Order and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So we get the people that are running the show and pulling all the strings. They're basically evil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now the people who are working for them, like, are they just jobs to them?
I guess.
Or like it's like a military thing where they just have to follow orders?
I feel like, again, if they're pretty much taking the stormtroopers as child, I think that's all they know.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like the people working controls and like navigation. And,
probably family. And
you know what I mean? But it's just like
that's my cousin.
You, like,
he needs a job.
Unless you were like extremely scared, you know what I mean? Like scared for your life. Like there has to be some type of moral thing, like a moral compass, where you're like something is wrong. Like this isn't right. You know, we're building like I don't want to jump the gun on.
Like
on
we're gonna
go,
but we're gonna go more. If you go really deep into it, you really think about it. Like where the fuck do they live outside of here? Do they go home?
You know what I mean?
Do they have weekends? Do they go to a bar after the work or shit like that? There's a lot of things you could think about.
when they shit, does it go out into space? You know what I mean? Like, but I just like that. I just always like these people are following orders, and like that's to be good people in it. You know what I mean? Like, technically, what is so bad about the First Order besides what they are trying to accomplish?
Well,
they're trying
it depends.
to get rid of the Resistance.
Yeah.
What are they actually doing? What is the end game? That's what I want to know. We never know what the end game is.
Well,
they could probably make like the greatest civilization ever.
Yeah. Well,
you know
they kind of had a direction in the original 3, and then I don't know from here. Like honestly, in like the first movie, it was all like political and them being a higher order and things like that, and them having control. But they never really had like a full like. And yeah, there was never really an end game to everything. Like, what your goal is to do. Like, at least Dr. Doom had, I want Lavinia be the best thing in the fucking world kind of thing.
See, I'm happy that you said Dr. Doom because that's exactly where I was going with it. Yeah. Like, what makes Dr. Doom evil besides the methods of him getting it done?
I think that's what makes him evil is the methods of what he would do to get it done. But then again, you'll see it differently. If you're from America or from any other country, you'll see him as a dictator, as an evil dictator and things like that. But if you're from Laverdia, wherever fucking his country is called, you see him as a man that's fighting for me and taking over for me and doing everything for this city, this country to be the best it could be. So there's a big like up and down, and I think that's the whole thing with the First Order as well. As in these people that actually work with them, they probably believe in what they believe in because it's taking care of them. They're not dead yet. Yeah. They're eating. They have money.
The Resistance, who is technically in this universe of sci-fi, is, you know, the rebellion, the Resistance. They are the good guys, but in the eyes of everybody else on the First Order, they are the bad guys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
We don't want to. So
it's like, so it's like, what was the constant thing that they always said? It was to restore order to the galaxy, to the universe. What is so bad about that?
Depending on the kind of order it is, like if people don't want to be, and then you also have the Resistance that don't want to be controlled.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean?
But then again, you see, this is where Star Wars gets it, because, yeah, you're part of the Resistance, and you don't want to be controlled, but you are being controlled by the general of the Resistance.
But at the same time, you are the reason why they are bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why is Darth Vader and Kylo Ren and all them going through all this lengths, killing people by any means necessary to get their goal accomplished?
Well, Vader had
if the Resistance, if the Resistance never happened, it wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they would have been forced into servitude.
Like, I feel Vader had more of a reason because what he think he lost because of the Resistance.
Yeah.
You understand? So he had a reason for the vengeance and the anger and everything like that, because to what his knowledge was, the Resistance killed his family.
Yeah. No, I get him.
So his
you know what I mean?
his makes sense. Kylo Ren just like a fucking angry kid that didn't get his way. He got to pop out one day in front of people, and then he was like, "Fuck, I'm going to the dark side."
Somebody stepped on his ant farm as a kid, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
man. He got to pop out one day.
When he's talking to General Hux about whose fault it is, and they talking about this is where we get introduced to Grandmaster Snoke.
Yeah.
We don't know who that is, but now, on first watch, it already feels like a Palpatine kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we know there's no one ruler. Not General Hux. Kylo Ren doesn't rule shit. You know what I mean? He's just a general, basically. Yeah. So they discussed going to meet him and stuff like that. So so they go and meet with Snoke, and then Snoke senses. Well, they basically state that that the droid has the coordinates to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
They couldn't capture them. They got away. So, you know what I mean? And Snoke doesn't care. He's like, fuck you, get shit done. You know what I mean? So General Hux is like, all right, I'll make it my personal thing, and he leaves. And then Snoke, we find out, is the person who trained and has been training Kylo Ren to the dark side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I personally am not the biggest fan of Snoke, and I know you actually feel the same exact way.
I have a lot of issues with him, but you will learn that more in Last Jedi review.
Yes, but also in Rise of Skywalker, you've realized more, even more, because Snoke, you actually really find out a lot. Everything that we hated about Snoke, it makes sense in the end. You know what I mean? But now he's sensing a battle going on with Kylo Ren. You know what I mean? He's sensing it, and he was like, "Yo," he's like, "Are you gonna be all right? You gonna get through this?" He's like, "Yo, don't. My vision is clearer than ever." He was like, "All right, well, you need to step your shit up, basically."
Yep.
Because he senses that the light is calling him.
Yeah.
You know. So, what you call it? Yeah, I don't know where I'm at right now.
So you're going. So pretty much you're going to go back into the Millennium Falcon after this.
Yeah,
and
well,
this is when
Kylo Ren has this humongous temper tantrum.
Like a little bitch.
You know what I mean? But like, I really like that because it like showed like raw emotion, and Adam Driver, who plays Kylo Ren, I thought he did such an awesome job. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't sold on him being him because like I remembered him from Girls and stuff like that, and he just played this like hipster kind of guy who didn't have a job and it wasn't shit. You know what I mean? But like I thought he was good. I thought he sounded really good as Kylo Ren with the mask on. I think he tried a little too hard when the mask was off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah. And then what you call it? Somebody tells him that there was a girl present, and then he was like, "Oh, what girl?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so what you call it? Yeah. So we go back to the Millennium Falcon, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and he's like, "Yo, I'm Resistance. BB-8 has all the information, and she's trying to fix shit." And then he talks to BB-8 like, "Yo, I'm not really Resistance. I'm trying to get the fuck out of here, bro. Yeah. But I'll get you wherever you need to go. Just, you got to help me out. You got to sell this with me." So he basically swindled and lied to Rey. Yeah. So as she's fixing anyway, the Millennium Falcon, they get caught in this like beam. They basically get held and get sucked up by another ship. So right now, they're assuming that the First Order has come and taken it. Well, Finn anyway. Yeah. So they go and hide into the floor, and then I'll let you take this next part.
So they pretty much hide, and we get two people coming into the ship.
And who are these two people?
You got your first appearance of old man Han Solo and Chewbacca because
young man Chewbacca, because Chewbacca looked younger.
He looked like he got a new perm.
I love Chewbacca in this movie, man, because he moves a lot better. He's funnier. He has more of a personality in this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I really enjoyed Chewie thoroughly, but that scene of them coming in and first walking into that cockpit. of the Millennium Falcon, like for the first time in 30 years. You know what I mean? Like it was just, to me, it was just like epic. It was just cinematic poetry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just really, really enjoyed that. And they find Finn and Rey in the floor and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, I'm part of Resistance. I'm a big deal in Resistance and stuff like that. And Han Solo's just funny, dude. He just looks at him like he's a fucking moron. You know what I mean? Like you don't know shit, young buck. So, what Han Solo was doing, he was actually in this cargo ship, and they found the Millennium Falcon and sucked it up. But what they were doing was carting these creatures for this group of people, which just so happened to ambush them. Yeah. Which to me gives such a good nod to like the legacy of Han Solo, because Han Solo is a lot of things. We know he's a fucking con artist. He's a swindler. He's a you know what I mean? He's a piece of shit all around. But he's also like a good dude with a heart, and he's also a hero. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like when he introduced his name to Rey, Rey's mouth dropped, and Finn, they knew exactly who they were. You know what I mean? But they couldn't pinpoint what kind of guy he was until this group of people come on, and they're like, yeah, you fucking stole from us, you da-da-da. He's like, when did I have ever done that? You know what I mean? It just showed that nothing changed. Like, he never skipped a beat. He's still the Han Solo, just old and weathered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they go through this whole big thing where, one crew comes in, the other crew comes in. They start trying to fight while this monster thing just is eating and destroying the whole fucking place. So they hop in the Millennium Falcon, and Rey shows basically, that she knows what she's doing, and helps get them the fuck out of there. Where they light speed through one of the monsters, which I thought it was a really good scene. Like I said, it was just good to see Chewie and Han Solo. They're still together after all these years, still kicking ass. You know what I mean? Still lying their way through shit. So did they go? Well, basically, Rey wants to tell them that she wants to go back to Jakku, but nobody wants to bring her back to Jakku.
Yeah, exactly. So they find out during the time. This is when BB-8 shows the map. He has an incomplete map.
Yeah.
And
this scene that you're talking about is another big scene. Like, this is a scene where Han Solo explains to them what the Force is.
Yeah.
And this is where he actually acknowledges the fact that he believes in the Force and that it's real. You know what I mean? Like, so he was always that.
He saw it happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we know up to this point that, you know what I mean? Like, he's been around it with Luke, even though Luke was a self-appointed Jedi Knight. Yeah. But,
So after they find out that they have the map, they travel to Tokanda.
Yeah.
And then they meet Maz Kanata.
Kanana.
Who offers assistance getting BB-8 to the Resistance, and Rey is drawn by the Force to Sidul Vault, where she finds good old lightsaber.
Yeah, well, that scene was awesome because once again it was just a nod to the first one, man. We've already had all these things that, which to you is what you didn't really like about the movie at first, is that it was literally
this is pretty much New Hope 2.0.
Yeah, but
I will say that in the end, it was New Hope 2. I wish it was more creative in being its own story, but it was New Hope 2.0.
I mean, the thing is with me with it and my argument on it, like I get and I see and respect your point on it, but for our grandfathers who watched the original, for our parents who grew up off of that and stuff like that, to us, to our kids, you know what I mean? It's relaying and forever transitioning the same story to newer crowds, just in a better way. You know what I mean?
I won't say better way, but it was
it's a more advanced way for the children of the time to see.
It was a different way. It was a more high-tech way, but would I say it's a better way? No, it's not better than New Hope.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's a way of introducing. I understand what they did and what they try to do is to aim the new fans, and they kind of introduced the characters very similar to how they introduced their characters in the original one and things like that. I understand that 100%. But for me, being a person that wants a new story and wants to see where they're gonna go, being a repeat of a movie just kind of got lazy to me. I was just like, all right, this is kind of lazy. Like, you just gonna go with the whole. I felt like watching like a spoof of it too. Like, I felt like watching the Family Guy one. It's just like it's just a counteractive different version of it. But did it make its points? Did it have its things? Yes. But it also can't push away that it is A New Hope 2.0.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind it all that much, but I do understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah. You know what I mean? You just wanted more of an original story.
Yeah. So she finds the lightsaber. She finds Anakin's.
Before all that happens, we get the first viewing of Snoke, and we get to see what he looks like and stuff like that. Because where is he at? Snoke is actually just a hologram at this moment.
You talked about this already.
We see basically a Death Star, but it's not even a Death Star. It's a Death Planet. You know what I mean? Like, they built the Death Star inside the core of a planet.
Yeah.
Which was dope. I thought, which was so cool. But Snoke is telling them, like, yo, you guys need to stop this shit right now, because if they find Luke Skywalker, there's going to be a rise.
Yeah.
In Jedi, and this is not what the fuck we need. You know what I mean? And then this is also where we find out that Han Solo is the father of Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Which is a very important key note. You know what I mean? Like, it's so important, because that's where, you know, that's where the conflict in Kylo Ren comes from.
So, be straight. You knew who that was this kid.
Oh yeah, well you knew it from in the very beginning. The old Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of looking guy said that, you know, that's your family.
Yeah.
So you can kind of guess where that was going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But no, yeah, that scene's important, because now we get to see what has accumulated in 30 years since the Death Star was destroyed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is 30 plus years. It's been 30 years since the last movie.
So they've just been building this whole thing. Where do they hire these people?
I don't know, bro.
What union do they have?
Are they?
They gotta
interns?
be a union workers.
They're not paying them.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but we
will pay for your college if you come and help us destroy universes.
They had a whole planet built, a starship on a planet built. So that's a lot of work right there. So where the fuck are you getting all these damn people? Y'all trying to destroy half these people. So where are you getting everybody?
It's just crazy. How do they sign up for it? Do they go through like an application process online?
You're just born into it. They
I
kidnap you at birth,
so,
and
you know what I mean?
You're born into it.
Because not everybody can be bad. You know what I mean? It can't. It's just not possible. But so back to Rey now. So like Finn wants to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And basically he bails on her, like, screw you, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You don't know the Force First Order like I do. And before this conversation happened, I loved what Han Solo said to Finn. He was like, yeah, I understand the First Order is a big problem and all, but you got a bigger problem on your hands. He's like, what? He's like, women find out everything.
Yep.
Like, he knew he was lying from the jump. So basically, when they got into that conversation, Finn tells her, he's like, yo, listen, I am not, you know, the Resistance. I've been a stormtrooper my whole fucking life. I just rebelled against them, and then I found you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like she was shocked, like heartbroken, and like, you know, you just basically that was her only person that she really had like a connection with. You know what I mean? Like something happened. So he ends up leaving, or going to leave, and then she hears voices coming from like the basement. So she goes into the basement, and then this woman just opens up whatever the hell she fucking wants. You know what I mean? Like,
fuck it.
Touching other people's shit. So she opens up and sees a lightsaber inside it. As soon as she sees this lightsaber, it's one of the dopest scenes in the whole movie. You know what I mean? Where she just flashes into her being a kid, and then her parents being dragged off. You see them, and they're like, "Oh, we'll come back," and then you see the ship go, and I'm pretty sure the ship exploded.
Yeah.
Then it flashes to Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker. You see where Kylo Ren turned against Luke Skywalker. So the story behind that is Luke is his uncle. Obviously, it's Princess Leia and Han Solo's son, who is born with the Force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Leia, we all know, has the Force from The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
No, Return of the Jedi. We find that out.
Yeah.
And he turns against him. So then it flashes to her in the woods being chased by Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And then she gets knocked back, and then this is when you hear the original actor who played Obi-Wan Kenobi say the words Rey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she falls back and then goes back into the normal world, and all you hear is this is where it begins. In the background, like I had to rewind it a couple times to catch that, but like that scene was just so nice, man. It was put together so well. So we got Maz standing right there.
I have issues with the lightsaber that was found.
Well, because it's not really Luke Skywalker's.
It's Anakin's lightsaber. That shit was long gone a long time ago. So where the fuck they find it?
Maybe he had to.
No, he had one. You only get one.
It's just a weapon.
No, but but the crystal they have to bring it to this fucking planet, and they have to be accepted to that crystal. Anakin had to do that.
I get that. I get that part.
So that particular, because Luke Skywalker, that was the first one Luke Skywalker lost, and then he got a green one down the road when he was a self-proclaimed Jedi.
Yeah, well.
So
I think that was like a nod to like Yoda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you could change your color, like in Fallen Order.
No, but it was still Anakin's.
The color of your lightsaber.
But it was still Anakin's lightsaber. It wasn't Luke's. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber looked different than Anakin's. Anakin's was the one that he had in the beginning of the series. And then in Return of the Jedi, that was Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. So basically, he has Anakin. Anakin's was lost in Cloud City when he fucking got his arm chopped off.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my
I get that they blotched that. They fucked that one up.
Anyway,
you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody who's listening live right now. I just wanted to give you guys a quick little nod. But yeah, moving on. Maz is sitting right there, and she explains to her more of the Force, and that the Force is with her, and she senses it. You know what I mean? She's like, you're looking in the wrong place. You're looking for the past, and you know the answer. You know they're never coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you have a chance for somebody else to come back. Now, is that a nod to Luke Skywalker? Is that a nod to Finn? I'm not sure at this time. I'm assuming that it's Luke Skywalker, personally, but then Rey doesn't even know who the fuck Luke Skywalker really is. She just knows the legends of it, because she thought it was a myth.
Yeah.
She thought it was just an urban legend, and now her whole reality is getting rocked because this is actually what's going on. Yeah. So she denies it. She's like, fuck this, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, people are getting hurt. I don't want to deal with this shit. So she leaves, and then she runs into the woods. So now the Resistance starts swarming in on a planet and just starts destroying shit. You know what I mean? We have this dope scene where she gave the lightsaber to Han Solo and then ran off.
No, she gave it
to
Finn.
To Finn? No, Finn got.
No,
Finn
she gave it to
her.
Finn to keepsake. Yeah, she gave it to Finn.
Okay, you're probably right.
Yeah.
So, this whole big scene, it's just a big fight scene, which was nice. And what I love about this movie is that they actually went back to making, the scenery. So it all looks real. It all looks just dope.
Yeah.
And, Chewie and Han Solo are kicking ass, and Finn turns on the lightsaber because one of the stormtroopers is like a traitor, and he has like a battle with him, and he's about to get killed, and Han Solo fucking, Han Solo gets, stops him, and then that's when the Resistance comes in, and then you see Poe Dameron for the first time, like really kicking ass as a fighter pilot. You know what I mean? You're just watching him maneuver. It's poetry in air. You know what I mean? It's so nice. Like he definitely is like the best pilot. You know what I mean? So as this is all happening, Kylo Ren is in the woods, and he sees Rey. He goes after Rey because Rey, BB-8 went with her, and then she's like, "Get out of here," you know what I mean, to BB-8, and then Kylo Ren comes in, and then they basically have this big like fight scene, but she doesn't know what's going on, so she doesn't have any power at this moment in time. So he senses that she's seen the map. So him being, a Force Lord, I would like to call it a Force Lord because he's not a Jedi and he's on the dark side. So he's like a Force Lord. He's a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? So he's like, all right, we don't need the fucking droid no more. We'll just take her. Yeah. So the Resistance, Kylo Ren hears that the Resistance came in and started whooping ass, and he's like, all right, everybody retreat. Let's go. We got what we need. We got the girl. So they take the girl up into they take Rey up to one of the ships to interrogate her. And
before then, just like the little thing, Leia arrives to Wakanda with C-3PO,
oh yes,
and this is the first reuniting of Han Solo and her.
How can I forget about that, man? How can I jump that?
I'm a little disappointed that you forgot that.
Well, I wasn't looking at my notes.
Emotional sap. That would be a scene you want to see. I cried a little.
I was just going off a straight memory right there. I wasn't looking at my notes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
I just had that. I just had that in the beginning of that. Like I just remember that.
Literally, once you said that, I just turned my phone back on to look at my notes to see where I was at. And I definitely would have caught that, but I'm happy that you called me out and basically said I'm a failure to the Star Wars universe right now.
So,
but she comes in, and this is where you see Carrie Fisher, all old. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the Princess Leia that we remember, which is not Princess Leia. But she's also accompanied, it's General Leia, but she's accompanied by C-3PO.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so there's this, like, little intimate moment between Leia and Hans, and then C-3PO is like, oh, Han Solo, my friend, I haven't seen you in so long. But that's what I love about C-3PO. He doesn't get it. You know what I mean? He doesn't get, like, the human interaction. He's just an obnoxious robot. But he doesn't understand that he's obnoxious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just love that. He's like, you might not have recognized me because of my red arm. And then, Princess Leia and Hans, they have the conversation where, he kept leaving and she couldn't deal with that. She got scared every time he left. And he's like, yeah, that's why I did it. But she, they state that Rey has the information to Skywalker, so she said, all right, we're basically gonna do everything we can to get them. And then Hans is like, all right, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. And she's like, well, bring our son back. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, basically, I think they broke up. I think they really separated when he went to the dark side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which it's understandable.
Yeah, it's like he felt like a failure. Yeah. You know what I mean? And she's wrapped up being the general of the Resistance. You know what I mean? So that was a big scene. And also we also got to see the first reacquaintance of Finn and Poe Dameron.
You also got BB-8 finding R2-D2.
Yes, but R2-D2 was in low power mode, and he hasn't moved in since Luke Skywalker left.
Exactly, but this is the first time that you see BB-8 going to R2-D2.
Yeah, it's where droids
the real
meet
legend
droids.
Of Star Wars, R2-D2.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. he is single-handedly in every single movie the one who saves the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's always on he's always on the fighters, helping. You know what I mean? Like he's always doing something. He's always hacking into systems. He's probably the most essential person in all the Resistance, and he's not even a person.
So, and then also you have Rey escaping using Jedi mind tricks and actually using the
Well,
Force.
now we're flashing to...
That was actually before the scene that you just talked about.
Yeah, but I consider it all happening at the same time.
Yeah, because they kind of hit that, so she escaped, and then they go into the resistance base, and then all that shit. Oh, keep moving.
Yeah. So we got Kylo Ren interrogating Rey.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, like I feel it too. He's like, I'm gonna get it out of you, and she like resists it, and he gets scared. You know what I mean? And she calls him out. She's like she's getting one with the Force and shit. She's like, yeah, you're scared that you'll never be as strong as Darth Vader. And he just fucking, him and his tantrums, he just couldn't handle it. He has to fucking leave. You know what I mean? Like he got overran by this woman.
It's like he showed her penis and she giggled.
Yeah. Look at that little thing.
He's like, no.
Oh man, yeah. So
I just say out of my vision of his voice. No.
How could you?
Anyway, let's move on. So the Han Solo, they all go to a save mission to try to get Rey out, and also plant bombs into the generators and shit, whatever the fuck they put them on.
Well, so as all this interrogating is happening, General Hawks talks to Snoke again, and he was like, yeah, I think it's time for us to use this fucking weapon.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. So they have this huge, big fucking Nazi scene, bro. It was like the biggest Nazi scene since the last biggest Nazi scene. And then they shoot off and they destroy 5 planets of the Resistance, which looked awesome.
Yeah. That
whole scene was amazing. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But so we see there's this one point in time where you see Kylo Ren and he's talking to something.
Yeah.
And he's like I know what I need to do. I just need your guidance one more time, grandfather. And he turns and you see the helmet of Darth Vader. Like when I saw that, my mouth dropped. But it also then my realistic mind comes in and it's like, yo, that helmet fell in a shaft of a thing that got destroyed.
So like this is also with the Anakin lightsaber. Like who's going into these fucking things and trying to find shit?
Yo, I actually dove down into that. Somebody climbed down into it in a cheat and grabbed the helmet. I forget what it was, but I remember doing this our first time doing this damn cast. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
it's like I'm looking
at my notes and I definitely missed a lot of stuff, but it's all good. Maz was in love with Chewie. I found that hilarious.
Yeah, that was cute. It was cute.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at my handsome guy. I forgot what she called him. She called him her fuzzy or something. She said, "Oh, she loved Chewbacca."
It's like I like that Wookiee.
Yeah.
Where's my boyfriend? I like that Wookiee.
Yeah.
Also, like with the interaction with Han Solo and Chewie, like they offered Rey a job and stuff like that. So it showed it was important that I mentioned this because it just showed the instant connection between Hans and stuff like that. So it gave them more of a reason, to get behind, besides the fact that, they have to find Luke Skywalker. They have to get Rey because, now, there's, an emotional component to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just, he's definitely a big softie and stuff like that. So the weapon destroys the 5 planets, and, yeah.
They go on a rescue mission using the Millennium Falcon. Han, Chewbacca, and Finn infiltrate the facility. Find Rey and plant explosives. To plant explosives, Han confronts Kylo.
It was basically like in A New Hope. They have to disable the force field that's around the planet because they have to go in and destroy this one little piece thing again.
That was Return of the Jedi, not New Hope.
No, because R2-D2
no,
stuck
Rogue
the thing
One.
in.
Rogue One was the purpose of the shields going down in A New Hope. Return of the Jedi, they went to the Ewoks planet to take down the shields, and then that's how they destroyed the Death Star again.
Yeah. Well, back to that encounter with Rey. I know I'm jumping around. Like I
you're going back and forth.
Because I'm reading my notes now, and there's important stuff that happened. You know what I mean? Like, when Kylo Ren was interrogating Rey, and all this happened, like he was wearing his helmet, and she was like, "Yeah, like it's like, yo, you're intimidating a fucking monster behind a mask," and he just takes the mask off. Like, that's important for me to say that. I'm sorry.
Rey just called him a bitch and take off your mask.
Punk motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I felt like Rey was just a stronger person than Kylo Ren ever was in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
But then again,
Kylo Ren is haunted by his past. You know what I mean? He's haunted by
fucking emo child issues. My dad don't love me.
He had too much mascara on as a kid.
Yeah, fucking Kylo was just an emo kid. Rey dealt with a lot of shit when she was a kid. She had to fucking scavenge for food and break shit and fucking sell it for a portion.
She's a gangster. She's definitely a gangster. You know, she starts believing in the fact that she has the Force around her.
Yeah.
So she Jedi mind tricks out of the chair, and at the same time, Han Solo and all of them, they come to the planet to go and save her, and then they find out that Finn has no clue what the fuck he's doing, but, you know, he just basically pulled a Han Solo. He's like, you lied to get what you need to do, and you figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the main objective is to go and destroy this thing. So now the cannon that they use, the Death Star, the Death Planet, what it does is it sucks the power from stars.
Yeah.
So they're recharging, and they only have a little bit of time to do this.
Star Killer. It's not even a Death Star. It's a Star Killer base.
Yeah. So they do that. You know, they go in and, you know, they re-meet and stuff like that. You see Finn and you know, and her hugging, and, you know, Chewie tells them that it was Finn's idea, because remember, she was heartbroken over the fact that he basically turned his fucking back on her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the same time, as soon as Han Solo and all them landed on the planet, Kylo Ren sensed it.
Yeah. He
sensed that he was there. So Han Solo, you know, they start venturing off. And what's the worst thing to do? You separate. Everybody who ever separates, something fucking bad happens all the time.
Obi-Wan.
So I'm gonna let you take this part, because this part is just too emotional for me, man.
So you have the confrontation of Han Solo and Kylo Ren. I think it was probably one of the most emotional and most memorable scenes in this movie, because
bro, it was filmed and looked so fucking good, man. It was so good. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Yeah. It means it is a key moment, because honestly, you need. I feel like something about a pattern in these movies, you need someone to die for them to go to get more powerful, and that's kind of a little pattern within all three series of movies. You had Obi-Wan for Luke. You had what's his name? Fucking for Obi-Wan. I forgot it's been too long.
Mace Windu.
Not Mace Windu.
Quan Jinn.
Quan Jinn, that started it all. It was all his fault. And then,
it definitely is all his fucking fault.
And then you have, for the scene, you have Han for Rey.
Yeah. Rey was that father figure that she, you know, I mean, Han Solo was that father figure that she never had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which was very short-lived. They only knew each other for a couple hours.
I know, but it was so emotional. But then again, it also broke, it also kind of like led the Kylo Ren to go more to the dark side and being more into the evil force and shit like that. So basically, him killing off his dad was a tough scene. It was a strong scene, and it was the end of Han Solo. And
it was well acted, man. It really was. But when Han Solo fell into the shaft, that just reminded me of every Star Wars game from back in the day.
You know, one thing I loved about it, and I think it was more about the aftermath than the actual scene, is Chewbacca's reaction.
Yeah, the roar. And then he just starts busting off. You know what I mean?
He started killing everybody. And he started fucking up everybody.
That shot, because he just shot Kylo Ren right in the arm.
Yep.
Because he screamed like, "Yo, I'm getting goosebumps hearing, like I can hear it in my head." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was, probably, that was his life mate. You know what I mean? That was his comrade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His best friend.
Like they've been together. Like if anybody out there knows the history and the lore of Han Solo and Chewbacca, Han Solo was raised by the Wookiees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not out there in the world too much about that. You don't really see that in the movies, but in the grand scheme of things, like they've been together forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He knows how to talk to them. He understands what they say.
But that shot that Chewie did to Kylo Ren actually helped out more in the long run in this movie than you can think of, because Kylo Ren was so caught up in the fact that he just killed his father and that he was free of what he thinks at the time was the reason and the thing he needed to do to solidify, to continue his training with Snoke.
Yeah.
And stuff like that he didn't even pay attention to the fact that he was getting shot at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that wound actually it helps out in the long run. But man, that scream, that yell from Chewie, man, that was just. I feel so bad for Chewie just throughout this entire.
He's seen
trilogy,
everyone
man.
go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, right after all that happens, Rey and Finn just doesn't even give a shit.
Before that explosion goes off, they get the shields down. Poe goes into attack with the Rebel Alliance, or the Resistance and shit like that. Yeah, one crazy ass dogfight. And honestly, this is something I liked about. This is one thing I will say about the Disney ones that I like more than a lot of the other ones, is the fact that the dogfights all look cool.
Yeah, no, they did a very good job with that. It was fast, it was fun, it was impactful. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like, like the cheesiness of A New Hope and how they destroyed the Death Star. This was similar to it because, it's like, why do they always gotta fucking build something that you hit this fucking thing and it destroys the whole fucking thing?
I feel like it's the overconfidence of their build.
Well, because, everything has to have a point of exit and a weak part. You know what I mean? Like,
not everything.
They focus more on everything. But this thing was built inside of a planet.
Yeah.
So, it's not like when that thing got destroyed, the whole thing blew up. No, this planet was, like, going through, like, massive continental changes and cracking and destroying and stuff like that. So, as this is happening, Finn is like, fuck this, Rey, let's go, we out. And then they run into the woods where they have a showdown.
Yeah.
With Kylo Ren, who's wounded, and he's just really evil. Now this scene right here is probably one of my favorite scenes, just because it's dark and in the snow.
Yeah. So
as soon as the lightsabers turned on, it was just like, it just looked so good. Like, I've never seen the lightsaber like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in the original trilogy, we didn't really see too much play with the lightsaber.
Yeah.
We didn't really see too much pop with it. Like the fight between
Skywalker and... We really only saw it in the prequels. The prequels was the first one we actually saw, like, lightsaber battles. First one, you got, like, fucking fencing with the lightsabers in the original.
Like, you hit me and I block, and then I block and then you try to hit me again.
Exactly. So that's what you got. So in the newer movies, you got more of the lightsaber play, which was cool. This one exactly, and this is the first time you actually see a non-Jedi wield the lightsaber as well.
Well, it's just a weapon.
I understand that, but
it's just a weapon of choice by the Jedi.
But before this, you have never seen a non-Jedi where you use a lightsaber.
Yes, I agree with you on that, definitely. So basically, Kylo Ren knocks out Rey, and then Finn picks it up. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I was never a big fan of Finn at all, and I'll say it over and over again. Like, the more and more I watch it, I appreciate him more because I try to dive mentally into his character more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I now understand that there was no romanticalness between him and Rey. It was just them two never had friends, and they found each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, their bond, they were like They were bonded through chaos. You know what I mean?
And they cared about each other. They wanted each other to live because that's what they were bonded by.
Exactly. So like when he picks up now, he's a stormtrooper. He doesn't have lightsaber training. He doesn't swing a sword. And I know you have a problem with Kylo Ren's lightsaber, which we didn't even talk about his lightsaber. His lightsaber's dope as shit. It's basically a lightsaber Excalibur.
So like so in this scene, it makes sense for him to be dragging it because he got shot.
He's hurt. You know what I mean?
But before then, it looks like he's dragging weight with this lightsaber, and I'm like, why the lightsaber has weight? It's fucking supposed to be light because it's fucking it's a beam. It's not really a sword. So
okay,
he uses it as a broadsword. He uses it as a broadsword. The style of a broadsword is that style. So I understand that.
Well, I just recently just so happened to hold an exact replica. Actually, it was a custom-made lightsaber, and the thing was heavy as hell, bro.
But that's because it's a custom-made, and the fact that the thing has batteries inside the thing, that's what makes it heavy. But now, in a real lightsaber, how does a lightsaber work? It's a stone.
I understand it's a stone, but you don't think the light weighs? It doesn't put like a pressure on the thing?
If every single person that has a lightsaber could hold it like easily, and he's having struggles to move it, that's a problem.
Well, he's got sabers coming out of the sides. You know what I mean?
Like that's supposed to give like another 10 pounds?
I mean, I don't know, bro. I have no idea. But it does make sense for him to be hurt in this
So
time,
this scene,
you know
I understand him dragging it because he got shot. I understand that. But before then, he was still dragging it the same way. The reason why I've seen it is the fact that it is based on a broadsword. Broadswords are heavy. And that's the style he was using. And I understand that, and that aesthetic is the fact that they made it to look like a broadsword to be used like a broadsword. That's where I just take it and then keep that in my head. But as realistically, that shit is supposed to be light as a feather. Or at least maybe there's no way in the hell that you're struggling to carry that.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Unless he's that much of a bitch.
Maybe they're really heavy.
No, I don't think so.
They're not light. I don't think they're light, bro.
I don't think they're light because they can hold it easily. They move it easily. They move it fluently. That's the thing. Is like if you see their movements, the movements are fluent. So it's not like they're struggling to, or like when they're going back and shit. It's not like they're struggling. They're struggling because the person's putting force on them. That's about it. It's not because the weapon is heavy. But other than that, like again, this scene makes sense because he got shot.
Yeah, and he was bleeding. And he started pumping his chest like, oh, I'm a beast.
Yeah.
Throws Rey up against the tree. She gets knocked out. And then, Finn steps up to the plate, man. This guy has no lightsaber training, but he tries. You know what I mean? He tries his ass off.
He gets an A for effort.
I will give him that. But this whole fight scene, man, at the same time, like, it is so nice. It's like a real dance. And it's snowing and it's dark and it just looks so good. And as they're swinging the swords, they're chopping down trees as it's happening. You know what I mean? Like, I just find that so dope. And then he obviously gets the upper hand on Finn because Finn really has no training or anything like that.
And the Force comes in.
Yeah. So Kylo Ren's standing right there and he's trying to force the lightsaber to him. And then all of a sudden it flies right past him, and it's Rey. Yeah. This is the first time her using the Force to physically move things. You know what I mean? Like, she already did the Jedi mind trick. Yeah. She's starting to believe more in what's going on. So they have a pretty good fight, and he gets the upper hand on her, and he stops and talks to her. He's like, I can show you the way. You know what I mean? You don't have to be afraid. You can do this. And then we have this like moment of silence where she closes her eyes and gets in touch with like the Force, and then you hear Obi-Wan Kenobi's voice again. Yeah. And calling her out. And like this whole time, if I was Kylo Ren, you should know what's going on because you have the Force and you can sense this shit.
But it's the dark
side. You know what I
So
mean? He could have killed her right then and there.
But he wanted to cry.
He wanted to be a little bitch, and then she whoops his ass, bro. Yep. She busts his ass, slices his face, and everything. And right before she's about to take him out, the planet cracks, and it's like this whole big, this big canyon in between them. Yep.
So she defeats him.
She runs off. He runs off. You know what I mean?
Chewbacca rescues Rey and an unconscious Finn and escapes aboard the Falcon.
And then they go back to that meeting.
Yeah, and then Snoke orders Hux to evacuate and bring Kylo Ren to him to complete his training, so which he made him more robotic.
Tamamorigato, Mr. Roboto.
Exactly.
So at this time, all of a sudden, R2-D2 wakes up.
Yep.
And then he comes out and then puts this big map up. And then BB-8 comes over and completes the map, and then now they know where Skywalker is. And we end the movie off with Rey going to this water planet. It's like a water planet.
Oh, Arch-2. Or Arch-2, that's the planet's called.
Yeah. So, whatever he said.
Anachu. Anachu, so that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so she goes there, and there's no words. You just see old man Luke Skywalker with a robotic hand. Like, what happened to your hand, bro? What happened to the skin?
He didn't.
Yeah, I think he just grew out of it. It's like skin's overrated.
Yeah. It got annoying to replace it. So he's like, "Fuck it, I have metal hand."
But that is the movie. I apologize for the jumping around because I got so into it. I didn't follow the timeline that I had already presented out.
That's
so I
fine.
apologize for that. But that's the gist of it. That is The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So, what were your highlights? Let me get some of your highlights.
I will say like the Han Solo and the Kylo Ren thing. It was a good story, and just bringing them characters back was always fun, and just brings back memories. And again, like this being a New Hope 2.0, kind of brings back that feeling of that movie.
This is the last movie that all of the original characters were together.
Sadly.
Because right after this, Peter Mayhew passes away.
Yeah.
The guy who plays R2-D2, Dinkler, whatever his name is. He passed away, and then sadly, in the making of
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, we lost Carrie Fisher as well. So R.I.P. to them. Thank you for all of just of pop culture. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are stamped forever in that world. But continue to your highlights. I'll just give a little tribute to them.
But I thought of it in general. It was a fun-paced movie. The dogfights were cool. It was a nice movie. It was a visually nice movie, and
it was gorgeous.
I liked what they did, and I dig what they did. I kind of wanted more of originality for just a new story, but other than that, I understand what they did, and I enjoyed it. So, it's up there. It's better than the prequels. I'll say this movie was better than the prequels, all three of them.
Well, the ending of Revenge of the Sith is amazing.
Ending is not gonna give me a review
of
a whole
make the movie.
Exactly.
I completely agree with you.
Because I'll say Rogue One did it even better. So.
Rogue One is the last 3 minutes of that movie is the greatest scenes ever in Star Wars.
So I will say,
in every type of rendition of Star Wars, it's amazing.
So I will say,
that's just my opinion.
In that sense, like I liked it better than the prequels. I liked it better than Return of the Jedi. I think they did more. I think they tried their best to tell the new stories of new characters and just a different take on everything, but kind of just still bringing the same thing, just to bring new audiences into it, new toy line into it, because they made toys of every fucking thing in this movie.
Shout out to Scott Steiner.
Yeah. But other than that, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it watching the second time. I haven't watched it that many times. I watched it the one time I watched it in the theaters. I watched it the one time we first attempted this cast, and I watched it today. So, for me to watch it 3 times, I had to enjoy it.
I'm upset that we had to redo this one.
Fine
I mean, I don't mind it, but the last cast that we did for this one was just it was dope. It was so good.
Well,
but I agree with you on your high points. Like me, if this was just for me, it was just an epic experience, because this was my first time actually being able to sit down in a movie theaters and watch it. So like I was like a little kid in the seat watching
Okay.
it. You know what I mean? I dug Kylo Ren. I thought Adam Driver did an awesome fucking job as him. I like Rey. I like the story of Rey a little bit. You know what I mean? I actually got a new kind of love for Finn. I'm still not sold on him 100%, but I can put myself in his shoes and now understand more things.
Yeah.
It was so sad to see Kylo Ren kill Han Solo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it embarks on, which like it was like a dead giveaway that was coming. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we sort of felt that. You know what I mean? So like you know, as disappointing as it is, it goes better for more plot and more suspense to make it, you know, just a good movie. I did thoroughly enjoy it. I do have my little gripes here and there, you know what I mean? Like, just little stupid, silly stuff. It ain't really that serious. But Poe was awesome. You like, our characters were strong. We had strong characters. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I definitely, it's up there as one of the strong movies so far out of the 7 that we've seen. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know where yet I would categorize it.
I'll say it's number 3.
Yeah,
as of right now, what we watched and what we reviewed so far, I'll say 3.
Yeah, it would be what, Empire and New Hope, this.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, Return of the Jedi, and then
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace. Yeah. So that's a pretty good lineup. You know what I mean? For something that was 30-something years in the making, 40 years in the making.
Yeah.
To be number 3, you know, J.J. Abrams, even though you did the Star Trek movies, which I have to go and watch because I'm just not a Star Trek. So
the funniest shit is his Star Trek movies are more Star Wars movies because they're more action based than like adventure based and like they're more action based, so they feel like more of a Star Wars movie.
I feel. I think he did well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like
I wish that he continued. I wish he did the trilogy instead of being taken off for the next movie and putting back on, because when we get to the next movie and the movie after that, you could tell it was 2 different writers on it, and it wasn't consistent.
Yeah, no, I feel you. There's big blotches in it, and we'll get to that one. You know, when that movie comes for.
I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. What would you give this as a rating, though?
I'll give it a solid 4.
Solid 4, yeah. No, I'll give it that. I think it deserves that. You know what I mean, for what it stood for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So.
And it was good. I enjoyed this one. I could watch this one again. Like, this is something that I could watch again. A lot of the other ones I can't. So this one I could watch again. I think they did the characters justice. I think everyone had their part to play in this movie. Other than that, like, it was a nice movie, a visually nice movie too. And,
it was gorgeous, bro. It was so nice, man.
And that's why Disney movie.
If I was a little kid watching this, I would have been I like, as an adult, as a 30-something-year-old adult, I was in awe of the scenes. You know what I mean?
So I guess we're gonna wrap this up. This is Not a Trekkie Podcast by Red Cyclone Inc. I am Merc the Mike. You can follow all our social medias on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Twitch TV, YouTube, SoundCloud, all Merc the Mike. Follow Red Cyclone Inc. on all the same things of Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, YouTube, and SoundCloud, all Red Cyclone Inc. And also WordPress that has all the links on it as well. Tenacious T.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Tenacious TRC Inc.
Yep.
You can also follow me on my personal Instagram page of T_DA_TOTS, TOTS. Or you can just come to Grand Central and fucking, shoot the shit.
Yeah.
I'll do anything that prevents me from actually working.
There you go.
I'd like to give special shout outs to always first and foremost, I give a shout out to the person who single-handedly put me on and made me become the fan that I am right now is my boy Michael Silverman, a.k.a. Michael Wazowski, because without you, I would not be sitting here having this podcast going on with my friend over here.
Yep.
I also like to always give a shout out to my brother, who has been my ride or die through the series, we always once or twice a year go through it together, and we grew together closer while watching Star Wars and everything like that. So shout out to my brother James. Always a shout out to Game On, a retro video game store based out on Long Island. One location in Smithtown, the other location in Miller Place. You can check them out on Facebook at Game On Miller Place, at Game On MP Miller Place, or something like that. You can also find them on Instagram at Game On Instagram, specializing in all type of retro video games needs, action figures, pops. They've been carrying more and more of PlayStation and Xbox games and stuff like that, due to the fact that we have the new consoles coming in, so they will start, becoming more and more, easily obtainable, because nobody's going to be buying them anymore. So, but they specialize in basically everything from PS3 down, more Nintendo NES handhelds, like I said, toys, Atari, a lot of stuff. Shouts out to Tristan, who owns the place. Very good guy. Very passionate about what he does, and we connect on many levels, so shout out to them.
All right. Peace out, laters, and always remember, fuck Zordon, because like in Star Wars cast, fuck Zordon. Check out all our other casts. We have the Oz Shell Shock, we have the Not a Trekkie, we have the Morphin Cast, we have the Gamer Rage Podcast. We got Guess What I Swear every week, we got the Wrestling Babble every week, so please like, subscribe, and share.